Hey friends, it's Harry here, January 13th. Mark that date on your calendar because something is happening that's going to expose exactly how much they've been shortchanging your Social Security benefits. And honestly, when you see these numbers side by side, you're going to be as frustrated as I am. I'm talking about the final inflation report for 2025, and it's about to reveal the truth about that tiny 2.8% cost of living adjustment you got this year. The one everyone acted like was so generous. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. And I'm going to show you the receipts. So, a little background on why I'm so passionate about this. I've been helping low-income families navigate government benefits for over a decade now. I've sat with single moms trying to figure out how to feed their kids on $800 a month. I've helped disabled veterans understand their benefit statements. And I've watched too many seniors choose between medication and groceries. And over the year, I've watched the same pattern repeat over and over again. They announce a COLA, everyone celebrates for 5 seconds, and then you realize your grocery bill went up more than your check did. That's not okay, and that's why I'm breaking this down for you today. Here's what we're covering. First, I'm going to explain what's happening on January 13th and why this date matters so much. Then we'll look at the real inflation numbers versus what they're actually giving you in your Social Security check. I'll show you how they calculate this COLA using outdated information, which honestly makes no sense. And finally, I'll give you the action steps you need to take to protect yourself financially, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Let's get into it. All right, so here's what's going down on January 13th. This is the date when we're getting the final inflation data point for 2025. Specifically, we're getting December CPI report, the Consumer Price Index, which is the government's official measure of inflation. Now, why does this matter? Because this report is going to show us once and for all how much inflation actually happened in 2025. And when we compare that to the pathetic 2.8% COLA that Social Security recipients got this year, we're going to see exactly how far behind you're falling. Let me be crystal clear about something. Over the last several months, we've been watching inflation climb higher and higher, and it's not over yet. We're going to see a whole lot more inflation throughout 2026, but this December report is going to give us the complete picture of 2025, and it's going to expose the gap between what you actually needed and what you actually got. Let me break down who we're talking about here because this impacts millions of people. If you're a senior on Social Security retirement benefits, this affects you. If you're disabled and receiving SSDI or SSI, this affects you. If you're a surviving spouse or parent receiving survivor benefits, this affects you. If you're a veteran collecting Social Security along with your VA benefits, this affects you. We're talking about roughly 72 million Americans who got that 2.8% increase and were told to be grateful for it. Meanwhile, your rent went up 10%, your groceries went up 8%, your utilities went up, your Medicare Part B premium went up. I think about the single moms who became disabled and are trying to raise kids on a fixed income. I think about the 70-year-old grandma who worked 40 years and is now trying to survive on $1,400 a month. I think about the disabled veteran dealing with service-connected injuries and watching every single dollar. You all deserve better than this. Better. Here's where it gets really frustrating, and I need you to pay attention to these numbers. The 2.8% COLA for 2026 sounds okay until you look at real inflation. And I'm not just talking about the official government numbers. I'm talking about what you're actually experiencing when you go to the store, when you pay your bills, when you try to live your life. Real inflation, when you look at the actual statistics and what prices are doing in the real world, is running somewhere between 5% and 8%. Let that sink in. You're getting a 2.8% raise while your costs are going up 5% to 8%. You're not breaking even. You're falling further behind. And here's the thing that really gets me. They calculated that 2.8% COLA using inflation data from July, August, and September of 2024. That's right, third quarter of the previous year. They're using information that's over a year old to decide how much money you need to survive today. Does that make any sense to you? Because it sure doesn't make sense to me. Let me give you real numbers. If you're getting the average Social Security retirement benefit of about $1,907 per month, that 2.8% increase gave you an extra 53s. But then Medicare Part B went up by about $10. So your net increase is around $43. Now, if your actual costs went up by 5%, you needed an extra $95 just to stay even. See the problem? Here's why the December inflation report on January 13th is so important. December is typically one of the more inflationary months of the year because of holiday shopping. Think about it. In November and December, demand for goods and services shoots up. Everyone's buying gifts, hosting dinners, traveling. More demand drives prices higher. It's just basic economics. So, when we get this December CPI report, we're likely going to see elevated inflation numbers, and that's going to show us even more clearly how inadequate that 2.8% COLA really was. The government has been using this same calculation method since 1975, almost 50 years of using outdated data to determine how much you need to live on. And they wonder why seniors and disabled people are struggling. Now, I know some of you have heard the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, talk about one-time price adjustments and how inflation is transitory. They've been saying this stuff for years now, but here's the reality. Those price adjustments haven't stopped. Prices keep going up. We're still seeing the impacts of tariffs, supply chain issues, and everything else. And we haven't even seen the full impact yet. There's more inflation coming. So when they tell you that 2.8%, 8% is enough, or that inflation is under control, or that this is all temporary, I want you to remember what you're actually seeing with your own eyes at the grocery store, at the gas pump, on your rent bill. You're not imagining it. You're not bad at budgeting. The system is failing you. Let me give you some context that might help make sense of all this, even though it's still frustrating. The Social Security Administration has been using this third-order calculation method since 1975. They take the average inflation from July, August, and September of one year, compare it to the same 3 months from the previous year, and that's your COLA for the next year. The problem is obvious. By the time you're getting that COLA in January, the data they used is 15 to 18 months old. The economy has changed, prices have changed, your needs have changed, but your COLA is based on ancient history. Will they change this system? Maybe someday. But I'm not holding my breath. In the meantime, we need to deal with the reality we've got. Okay, so what can you actually do with this information? Here are 3 things you can start right now. Step 1. Track your actual expenses. I know this sounds basic, but write down what you're really spending on groceries, utilities, medication, rent. When you have those numbers in front of you, you can see exactly how much you're falling behind, and you can use that information to plan better and to know what kind of additional help you need. Step 2. Apply for every benefit you qualify for. Go to benefits.gov right now and see what programs you're eligible for. SNAP for food assistance, LEHEAP for heating and cooling bills, Medicare savings programs to help with healthcare costs, prescription assistance programs. There are resources out there, but nobody's going to hand them to you automatically. You have to apply. Step 3. Stay informed. When that December CPI report comes out on January 13th, pay attention to it. Watch what the actual inflation numbers are. Compare them to what you got in your COLA. Use that information to advocate for yourself, to talk to your representatives, to push for change. The more people understand how broken this system is, the more pressure there is to fix it. And if you need help navigating any of this, that's what I'm here for. I have videos on SNAP applications, finding free phones, utility assistance, all of it. Check the description and the video library. Listen, I know this video wasn't full of good news. The truth is, the COLA system is broken. You're getting raises based on old information while living with current prices. And that 2.8% increase isn't cutting it when real inflation is double that. But here's what I want you to remember. You're not alone in this. Millions of people are in the same situation. And being aware of how the system works, even when it's working against you, gives you power. You can plan better, you can advocate better, you can find the resources you need to survive. That's what this channel is all about. Giving you real information, not sugar-coated nonsense. showing you the resources that exist and building a community of people who understand what you're going through because they're going through it too. If this video helped you understand what's really happening with Social Security and inflation, hit that subscribe button. I post new videos every week on benefits, financial assistance, and real talk about surviving on a low income. Leave a comment below and let me know how that 2.8% COLA is working out for you. Are you falling behind? What expenses hit you the hardest? I read every comment and your stories help me create content that actually matters. And check out the video library. I've got over 170 plus videos here, covering every benefit program, every assistance option, every survival strategy I can think of. Stay warm out there, friends. Happy New Year. And remember, we're in this together.